Harmonicaster says PRS got started with an order from Sam Ash. This is true. He talked, both Sammy Ash said that story on my podcast, and Paul Reed Smith told that story on my podcast. With decline of NAMM and dominance of Sweetwater, how can new brands get a foothold? What he's basically saying is that obviously Sam Ash gave Paul Reed Smith his first PO order. This is true. And I don't know if you know this, but with that order, Paul Reed Smith was able to take that order to the bank and then get a loan to secure his facility. This is an absolute true story. Like I said, it was told to me personally by Paul Reed Smith and then verified by Sammy Ash. God rest his soul. So, the point of that is, his question is, how will that happen in the future? How will that happen when everything is just this soulless, lifeless, dead internet? Well, unfortunately, that will still happen because people are always going to be people. You know, the world has changed significantly, but people are still generally the same. We still interact with each other. You're interacting here. You're hanging out here. We're hanging out with people. The technology has changed how it's happened, but we're doing it. So people are still the same, so that's good. But the big difference that's important is exactly what I was talking about earlier about data. The internet and data is going to change that. So when you say in your question comment, Sweetwater, who's the dominant force, will not intro new brands. That is not true. Okay, so now what's funny is, Harmonicaster, I actually know a little secret, because you sent me this email. I saw it. I had it pinned, but it didn't get to it. And in his full email, he mentioned that he talked to a VP, I think, at marketing or sales at Sweetwater, and they said they're not adding any new brands. Well, they are adding new brands. He might have said that to you because maybe now they've discussed it, put a hold on it, because they did add a lot of new brands. First of all, let me just start here. Sweetwater, since 2019, has added an insane amount of new brands, in my opinion. A lot of that was the boom, but it's a lot. They've added everything from Victory amps. They've added, I'm trying to think. There's just so, I know, I should have all these in my head. You guys know, just go on Sweetwater. They've been adding brand after brand after brand after brand. It's been a really crazy amount of brands. Zither stands. They added Zither stands. That happened as well. Now, here's the other part. They just recently added Amplified Nation. Amplified Nation is a full announcement. I'm actually leaking it. You guys, if you're savvy, you know, because you can go on Sweetwater site and their amps are on their website right now. Amplified Nation, who's a very small builder, albeit a high-end custom shop builder, is now on Sweetwater. So they just not only just added that brand, it's officially not even happening until next week. So they are adding brands. Here's the difference, though. It's how brands are added. You're not going to have for those of you that have a brand and you're trying to get into a big chain now, you're not going to be able to walk in like Paul Reed Smith, talk to the owner or the CEO of Sweetwater and say, hey, I really have a dream to make this happen, and I play my product, and they play it and they love it and they buy it. Although there is still a little bit of that going on, like I said. What's really happening now is this. When you approach Sweetwater, okay, this is why I said this is the good information to have. If you're a small brand and you approach Sweetwater, let me tell you what they're doing. The first thing they're doing is they're looking in their own website data to see how many of their customers search for your product. So if I'm going to pick my own brand, Blackstock Pickups. So for instance, if I contacted them and said, hey, I have these pickups called Blackstock Pickups, I want you to carry them. And I'm lucky enough to get a hold of one of the buyers. And the first thing they're going to do is going to check their own data to see how many of their customers are looking for this product in the first place. That's the first thing. And if that number is very low to non-existent, that's probably going to be the end of this conversation. It's just going to go like that. No one's looking for it. They're not here to push it. They're here to give their customers, because this is the important part. These guys have the customers, these big chains. They're not looking for customers. I mean, they are, but they're not. They're looking for products. The analogy I like is like QVC. They're going to make 365 videos a year. They already have all the grandmas and grandpas watching QVC. I mean, no offense, just I always think of my mom when I'm thinking of QVC, but whatever. They have people watching QVC. The same people are buying and buying over and over again. They're going to buy Tupperware today, and they're going to buy fishing lures tomorrow, and they're going to buy the same thing. And they're basically just looking at new products. Sweetwater's looking for new products all the time to feed their customer base, but they're looking for something their customer base already wants. They're not looking to try to convince them to buy anything. They just want to find out what they already want and be there kind of there. So here's that's the first thing to do. Second thing they're going to do, if there is search results, okay? So it's like, people are going on our site and searching for these things. And some of you guys have experienced this. You go to search a product at Sweetwater and you type it in, and it says, no, we don't have that, but check out these brands instead. That's where that data, that message to you, that has been saved. Somebody can see that now in a report and see that you guys search for it. Then we're assuming now that there's a lot of searches. Then they're going to look at the market, see how much social media you've created. Right? I mean, it's a no-brainer. You already know they work with every YouTube channel. There's probably not a YouTube channel on YouTube that doesn't have at least 20 to 30,000 subscribers that doesn't have some kind of relationship with Sweetwater at this point. Like I told you guys, they're a big company, so they can reach out and work with you in some way. So same thing. They're going to look. Did Phil McKnight do a video of this product? Did Aggiefish do a video of this product? Did Rhett Shaw do a video of this product? Did Ben Coombs do a video of this? Because again, it's going to be like, they're just going to look to see what's out there. They're going to see. There's small communities. There's what's called micro influencers and medium. I don't know. It's all dumb. That part I don't care about. But there's different levels of influencers. Okay. Micro, I think, is the smallest, and there's like a medium goes up. My wife explained it to me. So anyways, the important part is this. They're going to look at that, see how much social media they're pushing. And then they're going to see how many dealers they have and what's carrying. And believe it or not, the answer is not what you think. They're not looking to go, oh, good, there's no dealers. We'll have this cornered. They want to see that dealers are carrying it and dealers are stocking it, because that means they're selling through. What they don't want to see is 50 dealers, and out of the 50 dealers, only 4 of them show that they have any of it in stock, which means dealers aren't reordering it, which means it's not doing well. And that's all preliminary. That's just at the very beginning of trying to figure out if they're going to have a brand. Because what's important about this is to understand that at their level, they're not. I've at my level. Let's just pick on me for a second. I've now have three for Christ's sakes. 3 companies I've done videos for that literally closed shop after I did the video for them, because so I mean, it was the worst decision of my YouTube to do this, because I did a video for a company that literally they were trying to start, and then they got, I don't know, flooded with orders. Maybe they got upset because they didn't get orders. I'm not sure what the deal is, but all of a sudden they're gone. That's not what Sweetwater wants either. They don't want, hey, we sold 50,000 Blackstock pickups. Oh, let's back up. We sold 5,000 Blackstock pickups, and I'm like, well, I can wind 2 sets a day. So if you get me, I'll get on it right now. It's not going to work. It's just like it's a shit show. So excuse my language. So they are going to do their diligence and do things like that. This is why it's important for brands now to be involved in communities. That's how you start. You get out there, you get with people, you get them knowing about your product, you get them excited about your product. This is very important, because here's why. None of those things that like I said, all those things I just talked about, none of those things cost money. Get out there, make a social media channel, get out there, post on Instagram, get out there, talk to a small dealer, let a small dealer talk about you. It's more important to get those things done now than ever before, because think about this. I'm sure maybe we could get Paul Reed Smith on the channel. Maybe we would talk to him saying, hey, if you had to do it all over again, Paul, how would you do it? However, I would think that's a big waste of time, because that guy is everywhere on every channel constantly. I mean, if you can't almost turn on YouTube without seeing Paul Reed Smith. You mean the guy who was smart enough to go out there and handshake with dealers and start his company, and now 30 years later, he's all over social media? I think that he's proven my point, which is that's how he would do it now. Paul Reed Smith would still probably walk into the Guitar Center, the Sam Ash, and other stores, but he would also be doing what he's doing now, getting his social media out there, getting things out there. And that's what they're going to do now. So Sweetwater is taking in new brands, and they will continue to take in new brands and small brands. But those brands have to be able to supply their base of customers. So that's a big problem. So you're going to have to grow to that. The best part about this is, if you can't get with Sweetwater, who cares? Who cares? I have 10 friends that make $1 million a year as companies. They're millionaires. $1 million companies that are successful through using YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, you name it, whatever, Twitter X, whatever the hell it is. They don't even need Sweetwater or a big chain. They can be direct and be extremely successful. It's definitely the way things are going to go for a long time. And it's that's my advice to those companies. So to you and to your question, I understand what you're saying. But Paul Reed Smith, that's exactly, I think, how it would happen, is if it didn't happen the way it did 30 years ago, he would be out on social media. The way companies like Kiesel, they don't need Sweetwater. They are direct only and they're doing well. There are brands that are, just through the mom and pop system that works. Because you're going to understand the mom and pop system, the problem with the mom and pop system going forward in the future for a lot of the smaller brands is once they get volume, it's really hard because it's really expensive to deal with 500 different customers. It's really nice to have a one-stop shop. But most of those small brands will tell you that what they do is they usually have one Guitar Center account or one Long & McQuaid account or one Thomann account or one Sweetwater account. That's their big account. And then they have the smaller accounts, and that kind of works for them. And then, like I said, that's Sweetwater is still adding brands, even though I bet you their go-to is they're not. I would imagine if anyone contacts them, they're going to tell you they're not, because they're not really not. You got to kind of be special to get on there and, be a little different, have something a little cool to offer, and of course be out there marketing like crazy, because all that marketing you're doing, they don't have to do. And that's what they want. They want to handle the customer service side. They want the customer to call them and, take the sale and take care of the customer. If you enjoyed this podcast clip, you can watch the entire episode by clicking the link in the description or streaming it on iTunes, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. You can also join it live every week, Friday at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and I hope to see you there. Until next time, know your gear.